I was genuinely expecting zero waffling today because of the whole blindside discussion, but we've got some waffling, so let's dive into it. If you don't want any BB28 live feed spoilers, now would be the time to scroll on. Dee and Devins decided to go ahead and have a conversation with Drew and Barrett about potentially voting out Mallory. Now, Drew had kind of been clued into this a little bit earlier today because Haley kind of slipped up in some conversations, and even after she was called out by Devins about kind of slipping up, she doubled down on it. So Drew caught on, and I think that kind of forced their hand to have a conversation with Barrett. So just a little bit ago in the gym, there was a conversation between Dee, Devins, Drew, and Barrett, and essentially they let Barrett know that a lot of people in the house are really threatened by the FAP Alliance because it's 4 people, they control the votes, blah, 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 all the things that I said in yesterday's video. And really, we're pretty open and honest. Dee even said if it comes down to a tie, she's voting to evict Mallory. Devins pretty much said that he is now voting to evict Mallory. And Barrett did not take the information well. I know that a lot of people are probably going to question me like they have all week about if Barrett will actually flip. And I'm not saying that he 100% is, but there's more hope than ever that he will. He told Dee straight to her face that he feels burned by her this week. He doesn't like the decision she made this week. He was like, why the fuck did we make this alliance a week ago just for you to turn on it already? He says he feels like they have asked him to essentially waste a month of game time trying to work on Melody and Mallory to trust them. And now when he finally was able to get that done last week, they immediately burn it. So he feels extremely burned by all of these decisions this week. He also tells them that he will not be voting to evict Mallory this week. And yeah, I mean, after a little bit, he calms down. Not that he was like over the top. It's still Barrett, but he definitely had a little bit more sternness to his voice or something. Like you could tell he was mad for sure, and definitely shared his opinions on how things have been going this week. And then after that, Barrett was on the hunt to find Yosh. And unfortunately, a good chunk of this conversation got blocked from the feeds. They switched to something else on the cams. So we don't know exactly how that conversation fully transpired. But from what we did hear, Barrett was trying to talk to Yosh about the numbers for this week. He also let Yosh know that Drew is not the target and that the icons want to save Drew, and said that after the whole nomination scenario, Drew has completely won them back over, which is not something that Yosh knew because Dee has still been telling Yosh and Taylor that Drew is the target. A little bit ago, after this whole conversation in the gym, Dee does tell Taylor that she suggests making some rounds because people are really starting to flip-flop on a lot of different scenarios. So she kind of gave her a heads up. But Barrett telling Yosh is the first Yosh knows about Drew no longer being the target. He had kind of suspected it, but none of the icons would actually come out and tell him that. And so Barrett tells Yosh that he thinks that him and Yosh are the swing votes this week, and they need to get on the same page about what to do. At that point is kind of when the camera switched. So I don't know where they landed in every single scenario. But the fact that he's throwing Drew out and letting Yosh know, knowing that Yosh wants Drew to go home, I think is a good sign for there to potentially be a flip. I also do think that there is genuinely a world where Barrett is able to convince Haley to flip if it's Mallory and Taylor. I don't know. I just know that Haley has also been pushing a lot for Taylor to be the one to go, obviously, because Haley is Haley and doesn't like Taylor for a lot of very personal reasons. As of right now, I don't know where everyone is on every scenario. Melody is also pissed because Barrett already told Mallory about portions of the conversation that they had up in the gym. So Mallory does know that there's, conversations coming from the icons about her going home this week. Mallory relayed that information to Melody, and then Drew came in the room and wasn't really being as straightforward as Barrett had been. And so they are pissed at Drew because they know he was lying to them because Barrett had already told Mallory what the deal is. I also know that Drew and Barrett were just having a conversation in the storage room, and Barrett was definitely lying to him about a few things. So all I'm saying is we still have a long way to go until the vote tomorrow, but Barrett has not acted like this with the previous Mallory vote. He hasn't been this mad at Dee, especially before. If there's ever a time that I can see him flipping, it's now. What an unexpectedly good Waffle Wednesday we're having today. Let's jump into it. So just a little bit ago, Dee pulled Barrett into the head of household room to have another chat. She was really wanting to kind of clear the air with him, but that is not how that conversation really went for her. Barrett was asking some additional questions about where her mind was this week and how she came to certain decisions this week. And her timeline wasn't really matching with a lot of things, and he was pointing that out to her. It was definitely an awkward conversation for sure. And I think Barrett is done after that conversation. Genuinely, I know I was a little bit hesitant. I do still have some concerns, but as of right now, our vote has flipped. And if Drew doesn't win Blockbuster, Drew leaves tomorrow. So here's our voting scenarios that we have right now. And like I said, as soon as that conversation with Dee ended, Barrett immediately went and talked to Yosh again. They ran the numbers. From there, Barrett went and talked to both Mallory and Melody. He told them that him and Drew have been working with the icons since the beginning of this game and said that they need to be the ones to vote Drew out this week, whether it's to save Taylor or Mallory, and they need to form an alliance with that other side of the house to go after the icons, Drew and Haley. So there's kind of been a lot of scrambling. Barrett's been going and having different conversations with different people. Drew still has been kind of like splitting up some of those conversations, especially with Mallory and Melody, and still playing dumb like he doesn't know what's going on while they literally know his whole game right now. And as of right now, they are both on board. I will say my concerns that I have are, number one, this is happening right as I record this video. Barrett really would like to secure Haley's vote in a Drew versus Taylor scenario. I don't think that he needs to do that, and she is so locked in with the icons that even though I know she wants Taylor out, I do think that there is a chance that she ends up ratting this plan out to the icons. On top of that, Mallory keeps talking about how she really wants Angela to vote for her to stay if it's her versus Taylor, because in a Mallory versus Taylor situation, Mallory currently still does not have enough votes to stay. And I do think that, again, because she basically said, like, I'll tell Angela that I have the votes, and she like listed the people off, and it's like, ugh, don't do that. Like, don't let Angela know that there's some shenanigans going on or everything's going to blow up and you're going to go home no matter what. So I am concerned about that. And they do have a party tonight. I think the party is here in about an hour or so. I can't remember what time they said it was coming. Feeds will be down that whole time for that. And usually they don't allow them to really talk game. They've given them a heads up that feeds will be down, music will be on, so on and so forth. But if there's alcohol involved, maybe some people's minds start changing about different things. I don't know. So there's definitely still some what ifs and some bumps in the road that could potentially happen. But at this present time, Barrett has flipped the vote in at least 2 scenarios. And I'm just hoping that Drew doesn't win the Blockbuster tomorrow.